The time between us, a love story that defied 50 years. What would you do if you discovered that fate had stolen 50 years from your great love? Donna Helena was no ordinary woman. At 70, her blue eyes still held the sparkle of someone who knows that life hides surprises until the very end. Widowed for 10 years, she filled her days with gardening and books in her charming stone house in Paris, where the cobblestone streets told stories of centuries past. On that rainy afternoon, as the sky darkened over the city of light, Helena climbed to the attic, something she hadn't done in years. That's when her fingers touched a mysterious box hidden behind old trunks. For Helena, with love, her heart stopped for a moment. That handwriting, she would recognize it anywhere. Her trembling hands opened the box, revealing dozens of letters yellowed by time. Vicente, her first love, the man who had disappeared from her life as if he had never existed. Memories flooded her mind like an unstoppable wave. Vicente, with his curious brown eyes and shy smile, had been her great love in her youth. They had met when she was 19, at a party at the Faculty of Letters in London, where both were university students full of dreams. He studied history, she literature. They dated for 2 years. Until Vicente was invited for an exchange program in Italy, they promised to write, promised to wait. Some coincidences are so perfect, they seem like the work of destiny, or are they signs we ignore out of fear? A week after discovering the letters, while still absorbing the impact of those resurrected memories, Helena was absently flipping through a history magazine when her eyes caught a name that made her freeze: Vicente Moreira de Sá. Time seemed to stop. It wasn't just the same name, it was the same handwriting in the margin notes of the article. With her heart racing, Helena read the short biography at the footer: Professor Emeritus of History, renowned researcher, professional contact email. Could life be offering her a second chance? 3 days passed before she found the courage. 3 sleepless nights. Finally, with trembling fingers, she wrote, "Dear Vicente, this message may just be a coincidence. But if you are the same Vicente who, in 1970, sent passionate letters to a young woman named Helena, then know that these letters still exist. So does the young woman. With affection, Helena Martins Duarte." She didn't expect a response, but it came 2 days later, making her heart almost leap from her chest. "Dear Helena, I read your email with teary eyes. Yes, it's me, and I never stopped thinking about you. May I visit you? With all the affection that never died, Vicente, can 50 years erase true love? Or does it merely put it to sleep, waiting for the right moment to awaken?" The Parisian train station was crowded when Vicente arrived from Rome. Helena's heart was beating like a teenager's as her eyes searched through the crowd. And then, there he was, taller than she remembered, hair completely white, but with those same brown eyes that seemed to see into her soul. When he saw her on the platform, Vicente stopped as if he had seen a ghost, the most beautiful ghost that ever existed. "You look exactly the same," he said, after an embrace that tried to recover 50 lost years. "You look more handsome," she replied, with a smile that carried decades of longing. They walked together through the Luxembourg Gardens that afternoon, talking as if time hadn't passed. That's when the truth came to light, cutting through the air like a blade. Vicente had sent letters for an entire year from Italy. Helena never received them. "I never received them," she whispered, understanding finally dawning. "My mother, perhaps she hid them. She didn't approve of our relationship. She thought you would distract me from my studies, that I would abandon my career." Vicente held her hand, his eyes revealing an old pain. "Time played a cruel trick on us," he said. "My whole life I thought you had forgotten me, a silent manipulation that stole not just days and months, but entire decades of possibilities." The silence between them carried the weight of everything that could have been. What if our greatest loves never truly die? What if they just wait, patient, for the right moment to bloom again? The streets of Paris, which had already witnessed so many love stories, now harbored another one, perhaps the most unlikely. Vicente rented a small apartment near Helena's. During the mornings, they explored museums together. In the afternoons, they sat in cafes, sharing 5 decades of untold stories. At night, they dined by candlelight, recognizing in each other the young people they had been and the people they had become. Vicente told her he had married, become a widower, and had no children. His wife had been a good companion, but she always knew there was a ghost between them, a love from the past that he could never completely forget. Helena spoke about her husband, a kind man who had loved her deeply, about her 2 children who now lived abroad, about the life she had built while trying not to think about what could have been. On a rainy Thursday, while the Eiffel Tower shone in the distance, Vicente extended his hand to Helena in her small apartment. "Dance with me?" To the sound of La Vie en Rose, Helena closed her eyes and felt each year disappear. His arms still fit perfectly with hers, as if time were merely an illusion. "You still step on my foot," she whispered, laughing against his chest. "And you still close your eyes when you dance," he replied, with a voice choked with emotion. In that moment, past and present merged in a perfect dance, as if the universe was finally correcting an ancient mistake. How long are we willing to wait for true love? A year, 10? Or perhaps a lifetime? On a sunny Sunday morning, Vicente arrived with a carved wooden box. Inside were yellowed copies of all the letters he had sent from Italy. Letters full of plans, dreams, and promises, all returned to the sender as address unknown. "I never had the courage to throw them away," he confessed, his eyes shining with contained tears. "Something inside me said that one day they would find their way to you." Helena covered her mouth with her hands as silent tears rolled down her cheeks. "Why did life make us wait so long?" she asked, her voice almost a whisper. Vicente held her wrinkled hands between his, looking deeply into her eyes. "Perhaps because some stories need time to be written perfectly. And ours," he smiled, kissing her hands. "Ours needed 50 years to have the right ending." That afternoon, under the flowering trees of the Tuileries garden, Helena asked the question she had kept for half a century. "Do you still love me, Vicente?" As if I never stopped, she extended her hand, her eyes shining with the wisdom of someone who finally understood that time is just a detail. When it comes to true love, then come. We still have chapters to write. And so, at 70, Helena discovered that certain loves don't just belong to the past. They merely slumber waiting for the right moment to bloom again. In that moment, under the golden sky of Paris, 2 souls that destiny had separated 50 years ago finally found their way back to each other, proving that true love has no expiration date. It just waits, patient and eternal, for the right moment to begin again. What would happen if you found the love of your life 50 years later? This story is moving millions around the world. Share, subscribe to the channel, and leave in the comments if you believe that true love can overcome even time itself.